Alrighty, well, let me go on mute here.
Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap! Dun dun dun! We'll just see if YouTube kicks in. We might have even got a little bit of Kevin in there at the beginning. But nonetheless, Rational Investor looks like we're rocking YouTube, so that's good. Alright, I have class I have to get to here, so I'm going to just make this short and brief today. As we like to talk about broader market, first off, currency conversations, middle of the trading range of the US dollar index. I think business as usual out of the US economy. I don't really see any train wrecks or anything. I also think that the US Fed doesn't really want to be seen as a political influencer, so they wanted to get as many rate cuts into the system a full year ahead of the election, and then that way I think they're hoping that they can just stay out of the conversation as we head into this U.S. presidential election year. Risk on, risk off. Actually, we have an interesting doji candle there, which ironically enough actually probably marks the midpoint of this actual rally. So as we've been sort of talking, and I know it's really hard to conceive this, but as we've sort of been talking, ironically enough, that end of October, beginning of November, actually is the window where equity assets can rally, risk on, that kind of a conversation. That's basically what the stock market has done. Still think Dow wants to work up to these AB equals CD objectives and that trendline resistance, call it 28, 29,000, somewhere in there. We had potential tops coming in on small cap stocks, but they recaptured their trend channel and they busted out this short setup. So I don't see any reason to get in front of stocks. But I did see today, and it might be a function of this low liquidity holiday window, that crude oil's kind of getting its lunch handed to it. You can kind of see a pretty little double top breakdown in at Mountain Man levels. I'm a little surprised we didn't get up to this trend line, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Above value, M top. We've just come down into 38.2s and key support here. So we'll see how we act at 50% rolls. And believe it or not, I actually like the idea of hunting buys down around, let's call it 52 to $54, somewhere down in that area, but not right now. That's still a good 5-10% away. We also looked at the options open interest. There's a lot of open interest by Wall Street to actually buy crude down in this area. So interesting enough, with the price as weak as it is, we know that Wall Street actually is going to be buying crude. So point of the matter here, we've got stocks continuing to press higher. In the holiday session right now, things are a little bit weak, and a lot of market participants are away. On the weekly charts, actually, I don't have an outright breakdown in the crude. It's more sort of short term, but nonetheless, as I mentioned there, and if we look at risk on versus risk off, oil's really coming off big time here today. I think this image has been altered because of the holiday weekend, though. So we'll see, what these sort of numbers look like first thing Monday morning. But you can see bonds soft, gold up, yen up, so a bit of a disconnect there. And crude getting whacked, stocks off a bit, Bitcoin up. Clearly a massive disconnect between stocks and Bitcoin. Is this Bitcoin considered a risk on, risk off asset? I don't really know right now. Student of the market, I'm still studying and watching. But I definitely will acknowledge there was a massive disconnect there the end of October. It is good to see, Bitcoin is catching a bit of a bid here. We were, maybe before I get into that conversation here, we'll just sort of finish risk on, risk off. What I'll just simply say is often we see when energy prices are weak, that actually opens the window for things like metal prices and gold prices in particular to be strong. And vice versa, when energy prices are strong, the opposite. So point that I would just make is with energy prices weaker here, it really shouldn't surprise us to see the gold perk up. Been watching, of course, the biggest gold stock in the world, American Barrick, and the gold index of gold and silver stocks. I didn't really have a trade here on the gold and silver stocks. Very choppy, but you can see she's holding this short-term uptrend line. So, okay. I was getting very worried there the other day that we were going to puke out here, but that does not seem to be the case right now. And if gold, American Barrick, we talked about this, 2263. If we can close above there, then I think away we go. And recently I talked about the idea that I kind of like the idea of buying some gold. And one stock in particular, and it's not really any love affair for the stock, but we've been watching it on the site for quite a while. Alio picked a little bit up here at 81. You can see it's floundering. If that gold index and Barrick and stuff and all that break out, then I think the W comes in and she's off to the races, and I'll add to the trade. So I am warming to the gold space, and there are some interesting names in the gold and metal space that I'm watching here. All right, now heading over to stock market in particular, and I got to tell you, man, the pharmaceutical stocks just look insane. My little KPTI, I mean, I don't know where the hell the top is on this thing, but at some point I'm going to have to get another sell order on half of my position working here to simply follow my model of selling halves on doubles. And this is exactly what I did in altcoins years ago. It's the same logic. So nice to see we got the runaway stock here. Is this the top? I have no idea. But, if she does M out, I might think about letting some more go. But rest of the market, I'm a little disappointed in Sonos, jerks. But higher highs did paint earlier in this week. So no real technical breakdown here, but it was a little, maybe that's a function of Black Friday anticipation sales events. You can see the lumber stocks looking a little heavy, and I love the ring. They came out with great earnings, and you can see it's just sitting right at its weekly breakout. This Gulfport, I could very easily have my stop actually hit here as we're speaking right now. And I simply said, look, I was going to buy the W and risk against the bottom, and if that stop is stopped, then I'll get stopped. So that's sort of what I see happening in stock markets. But a couple new ideas that I'm sort of chewing on right now. As I said, I really like this OCX. Nice W trying to come in here. We picked up some calls for the spring, just on anticipation of this gap being filled in. No real breakout there yet, but sure looking interesting. Absolutely love this CLDX. Hopefully you see the weekly W's, tests of the lows. Nice, almost like a hammer bar here today. So, keep your eyes peeled. Another pharma name that looks interesting. And then I think I talked to you guys recently about this. Really interested in this OSS. It's a tech stock. But you can see the W's. And actually, I just got filled here this morning on my reload zone bids. I put one in at 61.8 and one at 78.6. And I just getting my fills here today. So, actually yesterday, beg your pardon. So, the point of the matter here's another name for you to chew on. Do your own due diligence. I'm not giving any advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing with my money. I like pharma names rallying off of the bottoms. And I'm really interested in this OSS and off of the bottom. Should make sense. Heading on over to crypto. And, of course, same conversation. Hopefully what you see out of things like altcoins when I make reference to that, and Bitcoins, the weekly W kind of concept, it's universal. So, where are we in relation to Bitcoin price action? I think I sort of showed you guys this chart yesterday. Over the short term, we had big dump, and actually was really cool today, and we're going to try and make this a regular feature. One of our site OGs, Colin, it was great to hang out with him this summer at the TRI meetup. He has a presentation that he does in crypto, and he's very crypto specific. So his ideas are primarily, things like altcoins and where's Bitcoin going. And we have this fun little competition on Bybit. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I thought it was really cool. Our CTO, Chief Technology Officer, Sjord, is actually our #1 performer this morning. Just killing it here. Way to go, Sjord. I'm Ricardo Montalban. I actually haven't even taken a trade yet. I'm still, old man. I'm still trying to figure out this website and risk management and trade allocation sizes and stuff. So I want to be the demonstrator of best practices through this. So I'm not going to go throw on a trade willy nilly. If I do a trade, it's going to be a setup and it's going to be logged and diarized and journaled and all that kind of stuff. And, I might even just be left behind in this competition. But what I really like is, like you said, we have a nice team of traders on TRI. We've got a good group working. Who knows how we do? All I really care is just everybody say what you're going to do and then do what you're going to say, right? Or do what you said you were going to do. Did I say that? I don't know that I said that right. Articulate your plan. Define what a trade looks like, and it was great in Colin's presentation today. He's part of this trading competition team. He outlined exactly what it was he was thinking, and he missed his long order by I think it was like $20 or something. So, and that happens in trading. It does. So, anyway, long and short of it here, when I look at this image, what I see is 3 words: dead cat bounce. Through Colin's presentation, he was talking about sort of sentiment through this downdraft that basically has lasted over a month now. This is a weekly price chart. And he was saying, man, it was feeling, he also is a member of another trading community, and he was over there, and he was like, man, it's like the sentiment in this space is just brutal right now. So that in itself actually lends credence, support to the idea of sort of a dead cat bounce vacuum window. We did talk a little bit today about the influence of CME futures contracts expiring, and just an FYI, actually options on these futures contracts are coming down the pike in January, which should make our analysis really, really interesting going forward. But, things like spread analysis off of futures contracts still sitting contango, so that's, it's positive. You can see the short-term trend in prices pushing higher, so I don't think there's any really big problems about the CME futures contract rollover. I think this is just simply, as we said there a moment ago, what has been the tone over the past month, obviously short and down. And as we're coming into that expiry, anybody who has that contract, it's cash settled. So what are they going to be incentivized to do? And I think the answer is cover shorts. And so as a result, I think we get, basically, they call this a short covering rally in the market. I still think to a certain degree that the and our swing traders are sort of thinking, where are we here? All the swing trader bots all started firing off of these inverted head and shoulders. We talked about this setup here repeatedly past little while. It's just working away, doing its thing. And believe it or not, it's 2-to-1 objective. That head and shoulders objective is basically, well, I don't know whether that's 2-to-1 off of this risk, but in essence, we're painting up into that 8,000 area. I don't see any reason why we can't get up there. Seems perfectly logical. And actually, I did up another quick little sort of swing trader chart there. Where the heck is it? Around here somewhere. There it is. So there is that head and shoulders. Head and shoulders targets painting, like we said, about 82, 8,300. There's 38.2, which is our first stop target to actually determine whether this thing is actually still a bear or not. And there's 50%, good old WD Gann. And he would be happy if this was levels hit. But we can see head and shoulders takes us 200% of that range. And now we have this cute little AB equals CD that also paints higher here. The issue that I have with this chart, of course, is this is going to be the end of the move, not the beginning, and we're coming into significant resistance levels fib-wise. Also, too, you can see the profile's pretty empty up here, so we'll probably get some sort of big pop, and then she just slowly fills in the profile as price goes back and forth here. So, and also, too, kind of like little tells that maybe we're getting near the end. Notice the volume bars on this breakout was lower. This was a little bit higher, so that was good, meaning the top wasn't in just yet. But if we start now actually painting green up candles here, now that this candle's finished lower than these lows, then that's volume impetus sell, meaning the bulls might fall asleep. We could also see that the bears are not really active here either, so that sort of leads to me to believe that sort of consolidation once we hit these levels. But notice this, and this is what sort of is the tell that we're getting near the end of the move. Remember, as we were coming down into here and we started to turn, we noticed the bull div in momentum, meaning that, hey, this market's a lot stronger than what price would lead you to believe. Notice now, though, we've gone to new highs and momentum has not gone to new highs. This hasn't broken down yet, but it is saying that, hey, be careful up here. And actually, a lot of people on the site, sort of trading competition kind of talk, we're actually all sort of hunting end of move, maybe even potential short setups up in this sort of 8,000, 8,100, 8,200 area. So, off of lower time frames, we still have very conflicting messages. So day traders, they're kind of just sort of on pause right now as we wait for this day trader model, trending market state. So we're not trending anymore, so day trader model's just sitting on pause. Finish off this video, and then I really am running late. I got to get to class here. Holy moly. We're going to start late today. Colin, like I said there, great value-added member to TRI's community. He's super jazzed about alts, and of course he spent probably a good 10-20 minutes just going through coin after coin after coin that he's really interested in. Weekly W's are forming, inside bars are trying to form, and these are three names that we reviewed today that, again, we're not telling you what to buy. We're not giving you financial advice. What we're doing is telling you what we're doing with our money. And I'm watching these names really closely in here. So there's a couple new ones to add to your list. This Key USD and Storm USD. And interesting enough, if you actually look at them versus Bitcoin, they look even better. But I think it's a good idea. Just keep ourselves honest. Let's find these weekly W's versus USD or Euro or something like that, depending on where you are in the world. But again, I really think coin picker's market. And he went through a very long list of names that are all on his watch list and various stages that are in. And he's had a couple just remarkably powerful rally wins recently. Remember I showed you that data, those kind of things. NAV, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin here was telling us about NAV. So, the alts are popping. If you can take advantage of this, awesome, great, rock on. If this is still a little bit early and you're kind of like, I want to wait for those trends to start turning up, fine too. What I really like is try and hunt the W's. And this is an interesting one. This is versus Bitcoin. We had talked about what's a person to do at this point. Draw your reload zones. You can see Mountain Man work there. But I really like the idea of let's see how she acts down in here and if we can get a nice W to form in. So I just wanted to make reference to this because I do remember we specifically talked about what to do when this thing has gone up. Now people are not that interested. It's working its way back down into reload zones and I'm in W hunting mode. Okay, I think we'll leave the daily brief recap at that. Who knows how long I was. I'm sure I went way over. Lots of fun stuff to talk about, though, nonetheless. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. Enjoy the market state. I'm really liking what I'm seeing in crypto these days. Sure feels like we're a hell of a lot closer to the bottom than the top. So get out there and have some fun in the market. All the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say at this point is bye for now.